Good to know. Good to know. Because sometimes the audio could be a trouble, but I'm seeing it's good today. Okay, that's great. Let's move. Before even getting there, what I'm thinking is I want to talk about where this cost management sit in a project. So what I can do is probably I'll quickly touch base on that. Okay, hope the whiteboard is visible now. What I do is, where is my pen? Here's my pen. Okay, in project, there are certain areas which we work out, right? It may be any project. It can be a big bridge construction, dam construction, software application development, a birthday party, maybe a doctor doing a surgery or an infrastructure, or at least something at your home you want to do a function, right? These are all called the projects. So every project will have some set of requirements, right? So this requirement is a very vital part of making a lot of decisions. This requirement is also called as a scope of the project. And this is also been collected by the business analyst along with the SME, yeah, a subject matter expert, right? And this all comes from whom? End of day, there is a layman, the customer, who says, hey, I want this, can you get it? Hey, I want a medicine for COVID-19, can you get it? So that can become a requirement here, right? That's what's happening. I know we all have this requirement, right? Get a medicine for me. Now, this requirement has a timeline along with that. Based on this requirement, some sort of timeline comes, right? So the timeline can be, we can call it as a time, but in project management world, they use a word called schedule. Nothing but it's a time, right? Timeline. So now timeline decides not only on the requirement, it also depends on various other factors. It could be some of the resource availability, right? And it can be, could be something on the risk factors in the project. And it could be some of the assumptions, right? I'm assuming that the big major countries in the world, both of them will not get into some nuclear trouble, right? So assuming that the requirement will move forward. Or I'm assuming that for a birthday party, the cake will be available on the flavor what I want, right? That's all some of the requirements. So now the resource, risk, assumption, and some more factors are there. I'm just putting some high level factors, okay? And now these two alone will not drive the project. There is one thing very interesting which will drive a project, which is called as cost. Cost is nothing but the money value for this requirement to be completed within this time, keeping these risk and resource in mind, right? And when we put it, they call it as something a triangle. Do anybody know this triangle? What it is? I know some of your experts.
Triple constraint.
Triple constraint.
Now, this triple constraint is there for hundreds and thousands of years. Further, it's going to be maybe another 1,000 years. It will be there. Still, the naming convention will change, but end of the day, this 3 year constraints. With this only, we have to live the world. Now, what we are going to learn today, we're going to see, assuming there are set of some requirements have already come in. Okay, some set of requirements. You call it as a requirement document. You call as a WBS. You call as if you come from the blue collar, white collar job, you call it as epic. You call it as stories. You'll call it as features, task. Lot of names for the same dosa, same pizza. Okay, nothing difference. All are same. Now, these requirements will have some timeline. Again, coming to timeline, some of the bridge project can go for 3 years. Some can go for 3 months. Some can go for 2 weeks iteration, right? You call iteration and sprint. There are some people go make fun of other industry guys. Hey, you don't know sprint? Come on, man, you are very outdated. Huh? You don't know what is called agile, yo-yo. Those things, all funny things are happening in the market. Poorly, other industry guys don't know what is called agile and scrum, but actually other industry guys are the only guys making money for the economy. Okay. By the way, IT is only small part of it. Now, what happens is you name it of any sort of requirements, you name it of any sort of timeline. For all this stuff, there are some sort of money should be flowing in, right? We generally call it dollar value because the world trade is happening in dollar value. Okay, that's how it works. By the way, many people are worried that, oh, what happened? The world is going to change. Superpower is going to change. Nothing will change because world trade will be only in the dollar for next at least 30, 40 years. Nobody can touch it. Okay, now coming back on these factors. So this, now we have to learn it, how this costing factor happens. I mean, it's a costing factors, they make a budget out of it. What do you mean by budget? I need to know when I want to do this requirement as per my customer need, how much of money I need. Do I need 1 million? Do I need 3 million? If I need 3 million, in what timeline I need it? Do I want it in a systematic way of 3 months, 4 months, right? That's a way of getting the money, right? A lot of factors are there. But now the question is, how do you decide this 1 million or a 3 million? That's a question. Now you can tell me, hey, Shriram, you know what? There is a company CEO on the top, okay, a fat guy with a big belly, sits in the conference room always, and that guy decides it's 1 million. Maybe chances are that because this guy is fat, he or she learned a lot of stuff in so many years, right? So that is called as historical knowledge, lessons learned from so many years. You can't underestimate a CEO. You can't underestimate a director. You can't underestimate a portfolio manager. We generally scold them at the appraisal season, right? But you shouldn't do that. But they're not the easy stuff, okay? Sometimes they're also crappy stuff, okay, mix of things. Now, what happens is when you have these guys decide something at the highest level, we can tell that it is an analogous estimation because I'm seeing history record. I'm telling that to quote it to your day-to-day life. When there is a marriage planned in my family, I will not go inch by inch and record all the information to collect the money. Rather, I will talk to my grandmother at the home. Hey, grandma, can you tell me what will be the marriage cost when it happened for your son? Oh, that time it was 5 lakhs. By now it should be 50 lakhs, right? Or you will talk to your father for his sibling marriage. What happened to the first son? How much expense happened? So we go to the historical record and understand what's happening. And that's where some decisions are made. But not all projects are historical record based. Some projects are so much clear with the details, so we can go a little more deep and make the analysis. When we do that, we have something called estimation techniques, right? We use it. Through that, we'll get some calculation. Okay, I'll give a little break here. I don't want to push too much of information on the first 5 minutes because we have to slowly get inside there. Okay, so primarily you have to understand that there is the first something called requirement, there is something called schedule, there is something called cost. These three are involved. Now the question is, Shriram, will I do Monday requirement gathering, Tuesday schedule management, Wednesday or on a government holiday, Thursday I will do cost management? It's not like that. It can be in any order, but basically you should know the requirement, right? Even if you get 10% of the requirement from the customer, for that you can do schedule management. For that you can do cost management. For that you can do resource management. It's up to us. Each individual is a professional. That's why they call PMP as a project management professional. This word is very important. Professional. Why professional? An advocate is a professional. A doctor is a professional. You are a professional. You can decide what need to be done on your own. I'm seeing many people asking questions, Shriram, how can I go? In PMP, I'm seeing 49 process. Can you tell me step, I'll follow. If I want to tell all step, I can tell this to a 8th standard student and this guy will do it. Why should I come to you? We come to you because of your expertise knowledge, your instinct, your skill, your empowerment. How do you use it? That's why people come to you. Don't go only by the books. Books are just an hint for you. Go this way. I see some people, they go by Google Map to drive to some city. If Google Map switch off, they don't know what to do. They don't even know how to see a board outside the car. And the board will explain very well than the Google Map, take a left turn, right? That common sense should be there, right? That's very important. In hundreds of years back or 50 years back, people worked by common sense where they made amazing bridge, dam construction, temple than the beautiful softwares what we have now, right? So it needs common sense, instinct, prediction to do this work. There is no one silver bullet to make it happen. Good then. Shall we get to subject? Have you got some basic idea on this when you're talking about the requirements, scope, and cost and schedule? Have you got some idea? Can I get a quick yes if you're good there?
Yes.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I have a bunch of people furthermore joined. Thanks all for joining here. Good to see you all. Good then, let's proceed. So what we can do is let's go to the screen which I want to share. Where's my screen? Screen. Here it goes. Okay, it's become traditional that we have to put some slides. Okay, I think maybe 10 years later the technology will change. For now, you have to bear with me. Slides is the only way of explaining some concepts now. Okay, good then. Let's move on. I have few points to talk about and cost management. Primarily, this training or more than the training, this program is to talk more on questions because I have people who know how to do costing, but they suffer at questions in PMP exams. So this session will understand how to attend a question, how to look at a question, how to answer it. So here you're going to attract more questions on this seminar or in the session, right? So more than a subject. Subject I'll be touching then and there to help you understand, but questions will be highly. Let's move a little more. Okay, for doing the cost management, as I showed in the whiteboard, there are certain factors. Probably it's repeated with some colorful picture, right? And I know this lady is so happy she got money, maybe before the COVID-19. Okay, now resource planning. This is very important factor. Whenever I talk about resource, we talk few resources. What are they? Means one is human resource, other one is equipment, other one is material, right? When you say resource, it consists all three. But sometimes our brain will tell that resource means human resource. No, that's not the only resource. Of course, huge money goes here. I'm not saying no. Depends on the project, right? If you go to a construction project, maybe material can eat a lot of money. If anybody done a painting work at your home recently, maybe at least a year before, you got to see the painting material will be 50% of the cost, and 50% of the cost goes to human, right? So it can differ. So that's a way that we have to look at the stuff, and some equipments also needed there. Now, this also gives input for your cost estimation and cost budgeting, cost control. And this is a beautiful area that is called cost control. And this is the main area many managers slip down. And that will be the last day you open your mouth like this. Okay, it won't happen. Now, problem here is it is because of lack of understanding on first budgeting. And the next part, lack of understanding is where are we? This where are we is a very, very crucial stuff. I have seen in my school days, at least my parents take for a shopping. What they do is they'll have a limited money with them for any festival purchase, right? We do festival purchasing those days. It could be for Christmas, it could be for Diwali, it could be for any specific festival and religion based. We go in the market and we'll have money before us saying that maybe we have 3,500 rupees. Within this, we have to buy. That's a budget, my dad will tell or my mom will tell. And within that, you have to buy for all the kids. They have to get it and buy some vegetables, fruits, all stuff. Now, when they start purchasing, they'll keep in mind that we have this much as a budget and this is what you have to spend. But what will happen is the market rate will fluctuate. They would have thought 100 bucks, that will be 150. Now, that still, they will not flow the money just like that. They'll keep a watch of how much has been spent, how much we hold with us. This will always happen. And again, I always heard from my mom, at least from your mom also would have heard, they buy a product, they will look at it, and the vendor says, Mom, lady, this is around 200 bucks. She will tell that it is not worth 200 bucks. Okay, I listen to the word worth 200 bucks, right? This happens in project management. We see what we have completed, is that the worth of money what we spent, right? So we have to see, am I spending the worth of money which is to be spent in this time? Am I getting the exact output? Okay, not going too deep inside there. Let's understand that costing is something. First, understand how much of money needed to complete a work. At the same time, we have to see how much you're spending in a process of completion of the project work. Now, the problem starts when the budget goes over the board. And how do you know that? You can question me, hey, Shriram, you gave me 1 million, and I will come to know I'm hitting the border only when I come very close to the 1 million. It is too late. How could I go back to my sponsor and get extra money? If I do that, that's wrong. What you have to do is you do something called earned value management, which I'm going to show in a few minutes. You calculate little early to see that am I on track or am I going to shoot high? If I'm going to shoot high right away, I can ask with my team to reduce certain stuff to bring inside the control, or I can check out with my sponsor, hey, would you be willing to spend some more money? I know that guy will give me some beep words, right, to scold me badly, but still, it's okay. At least we can try it, right? Right. Before that, first we'll try to do something compression within us. What do you mean by compression? Cut down all your travels, maybe reduce certain unwanted expenses. Will all happen. Can happen. I have seen in my projects happening. You would have seen it, right? Cost cutting will happen. Okay, that's what called cost controlling. Anyway, let's move a little more. I think I'm going to bring some questions to make you think. Here is the question. Spend a minute to read this question. In exam, you get 1 minute 30 seconds. Try reading it. What a big question, yeah? But the answer is simple. Before even you give me an answer, tell me what is the key sentence you see in this question. Something key will happen there. Can you tell me something? I know answers are coming up, but let me see the key also there. I can see answer B, A, similar project. Somebody caught it very well, right? Fantastic. Fantastic. Very similar. Fantastic. Good, man. Most of you got that thought. That's very similar. Now, I like the way you all are looking into the question. So this is a very important thing in exam. Okay, I'm going to say in a two-way. One is in a real life. In real life, you have to first see any very similar project happened in your company, right? Your company has done 4 other highway projects, right? There is no word for ego in project management. I've seen some managers, oh, no, I won't go and ask this guy. Everything I will do. I'm a born Einstein in this world. I will do everything on my own. Yeah, you can do it. I'm not saying no. Yes, you can try it. But if it is going to cost of your customer pocket, it's wrong. If it's on your own pocket, you can do on your own. But if it's a customer money running up, you should be wise enough to go and talk to a senior management or someone called PMO. What does PMO stands for? Prime Minister Office, right? What's a PMO stands for? Anybody knows about it? Project Management Office, fantastic. So the Project Management Office is liable to have all this information. Now somebody is questioning me, Shriram, I don't know what is this PMO, man, where they exist. I not even seen the company. It is there. If you go to any middle sector or high level companies, every company will have a Project Management Office. Maybe individual or group of people who have all the lessons learned of the previous projects. You can go and check with them. They will have a lot of, they should have. Now that is on the project side. And coming on an exam point of view, when you read such a big question, it will consume at least 40 seconds. At least 40 seconds. Okay. Now you go back to the answer, you read the answer, again your brain says that, did I understand the question properly? Let me read the question again. Now what you do is second time when you read, you will not read complete sentence. You will read here, you will read here, you will read here, you will read here. Go to the answer. Again, you don't understand. By the time another 20, 30 seconds gone. Now again, you'll read it again. Now what will happen is you keep reading the same question 2 times, 3 times. What will happen is each question on average, you will spend 2 minutes of time. This is going to hit your PMP exam very badly, right? What is the problem? I'll tell you. Now, we speak English well. Some people I know, they speak as if they're next house of Shakespeare or Peter England. Okay, they speak really well. But that doesn't mean your brain is processing like that. Speaking is different, brain processing is different. Your brain processing always takes the foreign language, convert into a regional mother language, get the answer, again come out, again convert to English. Okay, I believe most of you agree. Maybe some 1% of people feel that when I sleep also I'll think only English. If I'm such a person, I can't do anything. But generally, this is the process happens in a brain. How to overcome that? To overcome that, while reading first time, you have to see what they're trying to ask you. right? If you see here, what kind of estimate involves, they're asking what kind of estimate involves comparing your project to a previous ones, right? Now with this, while reading itself, your brain would have catch up certain line. Your company has done 4 projects like this. Now, if you map this and with this, you got a clue that these guys are asking about how do you do the estimation. So if you read the PMBOK book already, or anybody in the PMP preparation knows really well, there are 4 types of estimation. One is analogous estimation, which will look at the historical record, right? Second one is parametric estimation, which will say history plus numbers, and then bottom up, and one more is 3-point estimation, right? Now with this, we got a clue that these guys are talking about analogous estimation, right? So this is a problem which you have to overcome in the exam hall. But for now, for your understanding, they're talking about some of the historical factors. That's where we are going for the analogous estimation, right? Let me see some of the answers. I saw very limited answer. Okay, I saw most of you B. Anybody went a different answer? Good, good. Most of you went for B answers. Very good. Very good. I would expect everybody to participate. It's okay if you make a wrong answer, right? It's more good to be a player than to be a spectator, right? Let's do that. Good then. So there are a few estimation techniques used in project management, in cost management. What they do, we have few estimations. One of the estimations is called analogous estimation. Just I spoke to you. What we do here is, in project management, I don't find much space. So what I do is, rather I go to the board and come back. Okay, is my whiteboard visible? Are you seeing my whiteboard? Very good. Let's go. Now, what happened is, I used to tell this story usually. There are 2 guys here, right? The 2 guys are, one is going to be the customer, and one is going to be your salesperson. Okay, this is a very old story. And these 2 guys are talking to each other, because of which you get something called statement of work, SOW. From here, it becomes a requirement document. From the requirement document, it becomes something called WBS. So WBS stands for what? Do anybody want to share what do you mean by WBS?
Work breakdown structure.
Perfect. It's we talk about work breakdown structure. Divide the work into pieces. Yeah, Pradeep, thanks for that. So now what happens is you're putting the work into pieces. Okay, this is what we do, right? At a home also. In your home, your mom asks you to, hey, can you get something after you come from a gym? Can you buy all these items? So you break the work. First, I'll go to gym, complete it. Then I will do this, put a piece of work. This all individually happens in your mind because you know when you're going to start, when you're going to end. You know what to buy, what not to buy. You know how much of money you have, how much of time you have. Sometimes you'll tell to your mom, Mom, no, I can't get the milk packet. Now I can't do that. I'll do later. Exclusions, right? This is how we do it. In a day-to-day, we do it. When it comes to corporate, with a bunch of people, it adds more complications. Now, WBS is a piece of work, what ought to be done. Under that, we get one piece which is called as work package. Okay. WBS, under which we have a lowest level, which is called as work package, a piece of work. Maybe we call it as module sometime in the project. Under that, we have this list of activities, right? If you remember it well, we have certain activities. So collection of activities will become a package. Now let's go from the reverse. An activity can be a lowest level of work, right? A lowest level can be of database design creation, or can be at the construction level, getting a blueprint approval. Yeah, there's some of activities, right? Certain activities make a project alive. Now these activities collection becomes a package. Collection of packages become WBS. A WBS, before that it was a requirement documentation. Before requirement documentation, it was an SOW. Before that, it was a dream of customer. Somebody dreamed it, hey, can I have something like this? That dream only getting converted to all this form. Okay, that's a beautiful story. Now let's go to the fact. Now, how to do the estimation? When you do the activity level, activity is the lowest level. I say some database creation, or maybe a blueprint for the construction, or maybe buying cement packs needed to do a bridge work. These are activities. Now let's make an estimation for it. What we do when you go to the activity level, you can estimate how much of resource needed to do this work. You can estimate how much of time needed to complete this. You can also estimate how much of cost based on these two, telling that how much of money we needed. Now that's what we are doing here. To do that, we have few estimations. One is called as analogous estimation. Other one is parametric estimation. Other one is 3-point estimation. Other one is bottom up estimation, right? 4 estimations are there. In this, all are conceptual. Analogous is conceptual, parametric is conceptual, bottom up is conceptual. Only 3-point has a formula. We use some formula called as PERT calculation. Anybody coming from the background of project, business analyst, project managers, definitely would have crossed through this something called PERT, right? PERT stands for Program Evaluation and Review Technique, right? Let's see some factors about it. Did anybody got some clue what I'm talking here, or something totally out of your scope? Everybody got a clue here? Are you getting a feel that, hey, this is what, yeah, I've learned about it, right? Estimations, right? That's good. Good. Good to know that. Great. That's good. That's good. Great. I'm just checking out because I shouldn't feel that I'm speaking all alone, right? So I'm just checking you are active there. Don't worry. Grabbing back. What happened to my screen? I lost my screen. Okay, here it is back. Now, what happened is here we have the analogous estimation. Now, analogous estimation is a so much old concept year after year. It's still going on. What they do is they copy from the previous project. What are they copying it? Shakes. I thought these managers are so genuine. They create on their own. I don't know there's a copycat. I'm a first bench student in school days, I don't copy anything. If you're such a person, yes, that's also nice. But in order to save time and do the benefit for the company, we have to go back and see some of the historical records, how this company has done a project before. Maybe last year, 10 years back, last month, something I can take use of it. Now, what's the benefit of using it is it saves a lot of time to just replicate, telling that if feature A took 15 hours to complete, here it will take 15 hours. If it is $15, here it's $15. That's analogous estimation. So quickly a question comes, hey, how good it will be, man? You guys are copying it. Yes, the accuracy level will be low. It will be low. Then still why we are doing it? Because maybe we are in the start stage of the project where the requirement is not totally clear. We have a vague level of information. Yeah, your friend can come and ask you, Shriram, can you get me an apartment in Bangalore? Tells, can you get it immediately, maybe in 2 years? I'll tell you, okay, the budget can be of 2 crores. 2 crores? Man, I asked for the home. I'm not asking for the villa. No, home itself in Bangalore, 2 crores, man. Which area you want? Now I'm going next step, right? When the information is not clear, this 2 crores came from my historical record in my mind. Last month, some of my friend would have bought in some area in Silk Board or Majestic Circle area where it is 2 to 4 crores. That information stay in my brain, and I'm giving my historical record to my friend. That is purely analogous estimation. When my friend gives more information, some more parameters, I can use historical plus some parameters of the current requirement. That's going to be a parametric estimation, right? Of course, we again copy from the historical record. Still, the accuracy level will be low, right? It's going to be low. Now, what's the next stage? The next stage is this two are historical record we do in the beginning stage of the project. It's also called as a top-down approach. Top-down approach, right? And then we go to next level, which is called as bottom-up estimation. In bottom-up estimation, the accuracy level will be high. There is no word called perfect. Nobody can make a perfect estimation. You can make only a little high level of perfection. How do you do that? When you say bottom up estimation, what you do is you work at the activity level to see exactly how much of time and money it will consume. How do I know that? Call your SME. We'll talk to them or make a prototype. Have you heard about prototype? You do a prototype, right? These all will happen at a level. Now, the next question is, Shriram, why can't you do that here? Why are you doing here? If you ask me the question, the requirement is not very clear here. So I'm giving a rough estimation, whereas the requirement is clear here. I'm trying to give better estimation with my SME and the actual people who work on the project, right? Now, this goes like bottom-up estimation. So you have analogous, you have parametric, you have bottom-up estimation, where you go higher to estimate it. Now, the next stage is, which is called as three-point estimation. Now, question is, do I need all these estimation techniques? Depending on the situation, right? Project can be different situation, right? A project could have started in analogous, then it would have gone to parametric. Later, I can go for bottom up also. It can go different levels. I cannot tell my project always use analogous. I cannot tell that, right? Now comes the three-point estimation. Now, why three-point estimation? They want to consider the risk factors. Yeah, can be a positive risk, can be a negative risk. That is optimistic, pessimistic way, right? We feel both. In that case, we use a formula here. Okay, I don't want to go too deep inside now because it's a little lengthy part of it. Just want to tell you that there is something called three-point estimation, which uses formula. The formula is called as PERT calculation, right? It has two ways of calculation. One is weighted average, other one is triangular distribution. Very interesting factor. Okay, it has its own way of explaining. I'll explain when I go to the bigger session. Now, for now, understand that there are four ways of estimating it. Now, when you estimate it, output starts coming out. Now, the output will be accumulated and they use for project budgeting, right? That's good learning a little bit on this side. Let's understand this by some questions also. Okay, there is a question here. This time I'm putting a lot of big questions to make you read. Try reading faster, as I said earlier, and find the keywords in the question. Wow, I'm getting mix of answers. D, A, C, A. Let me see everybody participating. Try a shot. Try a shot with what you learned just now. Let's see how much your brain can digest it. Give a shot, give a shot. Okay, let's see the keywords in the question. I'm seeing answers of A, C, D. Now I got B also. All four are given. Fantastic. Fantastic. This, I think, is a tough question, everybody. All four being answered. Let's understand the question here first. They have a standard spreadsheet. Okay, very good. To use a spreadsheet. Spreadsheet is a keyword. Okay, let's see. You meet with the team to estimate the number of functional requirements, use cases, and design wireframes for it. All the stuffs are happening. Use case, all stuff are happening, right? Then you categorize them into high, medium, low complexity. Very good. You enter all of those numbers into a spreadsheet. You enter all into spreadsheet, which uses a data table derived from the past projects. Okay, actual cost and duration performs a set of calculations, generates a final estimate. What kind of estimation it is? Here these guys are using historical record plus parameters. Do you see that? They're using historical record, that's a past project, plus your project's parameters are being used. The data of your current project is being used. Now, when you take historical record from the parameters or data of your project, sometimes they even use certain algorithms to make a calculation. If you do that, which one I have to go? Analogous is purely historical. Bottom up, you make at the lowest level to understand how the team is doing, what is the actual cost of it is. It's a little expensive process also. Rough order of magnitude doesn't come in the picture here, so it's being eliminated, right? Eliminated. So C and D looks a little alien here, whereas that parametric looks a little more closer the way these guys are explaining, right? Right. Some of you gave the answer A. If you give an answer A, that's perfectly right. People who are not given A, are you feeling that A should be an answer after you see these two keywords? Are you getting a feel, oh yeah, it could be A, parametric? Yeah? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right there. So that's the way. The explanation is clear now for why A is great answer. Yeah, that's a point. Yeah, sometimes we miss that because we are in urgency. We will miss out in the exam hall. I'll tell you, when you read this sentence, your brain will not be thinking about the answers. I completely agree. We are not Chitti 2.0 to understand all at one shot. You have to go to one reading, but when they come to the estimation gone, quickly your brain can catch up. This guy said something about the past. Okay, history has happened. Spreadsheet, definitely something these guys are having calculation. Then it calls parametric estimation, right? That's a way of explaining things. Anyway, for the people for the first time, if you learn, I'll tell you it will be a little tough. Don't get worried if you can't answer correctly. To answer this level, people would have read the books at least once or twice. They would have listened a lot of video sessions. They would have gone through the whole session which I have taken, right? Last few weeks they were with me in the classroom trainings. So if somebody's answering correctly and you can't get it, don't worry. In project management, there will be always some toughness, right? If not, managers are not highly paid in the market, right? Why managers are highly paid? Because of a lot of decision making system. Okay, don't worry. Let's learn that practice. That's why we are here. Let's go to the answer. The answer is A. Most of you made it perfectly correct, right? Okay, that's explanation which we spoke about. Oh, sorry. I was a little hurry. Now I give a small question, but it has some factors here. I want to read it. Let's understand another concept here. As I said, this session I'm trying to put through question, make you understand. Let's go. Read carefully, find the key things what you see. Um, Pessimistically to ensure enough money is allocated. What is the best way to handle this? Okay, now coming back on the question before going to the answer, what do you see as an important thing in the question? What is asked here? The customer responsible for overseeing your project task. Okay, there is a human here. Ask you, you are here. Okay, there is a customer, there you are. Okay, very good. Let's give life for this question. Provide a written cost estimate that is 30% higher than your estimate of the project. If you say 100, this guy is asking 100 and sorry, it's asking 130, right? He explains that the budgeting process requires managers to estimate pessimistically. What do you mean by pessimistically? Do anybody know what is pessimistic? There are few people pessimistic, some people are optimistic. You know what is pessimistic? In real life, let's go normal English sentence. Pessimistic, highly negative. Okay, opposite of optimistic, right? Pessimistic. Pessimistic guy thinks, hey, what if things can go wrong? If optimistic guy thinks positively, hey, this virus pandemic is nothing, man. Within 2 3 months, everything will be fine. A pessimistic guy will tell, that's it, human race gone. I read in my school days, 2000, after 2000, there is no world. After 2014, there is no world. That guy keeps still telling that after 2020, there is no world. Okay. These guys will all keep on saying the same stuff, but nothing wrong here. There may be some meaning also. We cannot blindly tell they're wrong, right? So there are multiple factors. That is optimistic guy, pessimistic guy. Now the customer is asking, why don't you look it in a pessimistic way to ensure enough money is allocated for the project? He's saying that instead of giving me 100 rupees as a budget allocation, why don't you give me 130, assuming this 30 can be for any worst case? If that's the thing, the ask is what is the best way to handle? Now, if that's a scenario, add the 30% as a lump sum. Can you add it? It's not a right nature to add it like that, right? Lump sum contingency fund to handle project risk. Right, this can be done, but before that, some kind of discussion should happen, right? You should understand what it is. But still, let's park this answer for now. Let's not go to the answer immediately. Add 30% to your cost estimate by spreading it evenly. Still, this is also doesn't look really good answer. Let's park it. Create one cost baseline for budget allocation and the second one for actual project allocation. Is asking to put two different allocations. No, doesn't look good. Ask for information on risk that would cause your estimate to be too low. Now, even though A and D looks very closer, I'll tell B is eliminated, C is eliminated. Either A or D can happen. Now, let me clear off all the stuff. This guy is asking, can you add another 30%? When that guy is saying, can you add 30%? Yes, we can add. But before doing that, you need to question what kind of risk you are anticipating, which will shoot 30% higher, right? When I want to do a construction work, there is an expectation resource shortage can happen where I have to get the resource little extra money in the market. That can be a risk. Training is going on, power can go down, I need a genset to run it. For genset I need a diesel to fill it, I need extra money, 30% extra. You need to pronounce that risk, what can happen, and then identify, is this risk valuable, do the analysis, and then top of that you have to add that money, right? That is the best way of doing things, rather directly go on adding the lump sum. It won't work, right? And again, these two looks a little away from the question of what we're discussing. Does it sound better? D could be answer. I feel D is the answer because of this reason, where we need to do the risk analysis, right? And in market, they use a word called padding and buffering, which is not the right term in project management. Padding and buffering are just blindly adding some number of time, some number of money to the project. You cannot blindly add something. You should have some reason behind that. If you say I will come 15 minutes late, you have to give a justification why you will be 15 minutes late. That is important. If you say I want $100 extra as a buffer, you have to tell why I want $100 extra. What is the risk behind that? That you have to mention. Okay, people who answered other than D, are you getting a clue that D can be answered because of the word risk, and also we can't blindly add the money? Are you getting a clue of it? Right. That's good. That's good. Right. So D goes as an answer for this question to get a clarity of we need to do a little more analysis before we do certain stuff, right? Good there. Good for the participation. I can see answers coming up and down. That's okay. You're trying it out. You're learning. But good way you're learning, you know. When you learn theoretically, that's one way of learning. When you learn through questions, it will settle in your brain for a long duration. You know, right? When you come late to home, your spouse will ask a question. That question will stay in your life long in your mind. Okay. Shahab is asking a question. It is always we avoid answering which shows negative aspects as a PM because ABC shows that aspect partially. Shahabs, I could not get your concept, but let me try again. You're saying that it is always we avoid answering which shows negative aspects as a PM because ABC
Because
shows.
A, B, and C, they similar. They show that that's a negative aspect of a project manager where we are adding and then we are showing a budget. Is it that we avoid that thing?
Not like that. I don't go into that prediction. Anyway, that's a good observation from you. But I'll tell that this is not negative, right? Adding 30% lump sum is not negative. But for lump sum, there is no meaning. That meaning should be a risk. I don't consider this as a risk. Maybe this as a negative part, right?
Yeah.
Generally, blindly you're doing it. So I don't agree on this part. Okay. If you want to go that way, yes, fine. If your brain is happy taking that way, I'm fine. But in exam, this is how it will be. You will get two questions which you can eliminate just like that, which two will be very close. Now you have to make a decision between can I go lump or I have to go by exact that information. This is where people take the last 10 seconds to choose which one is right. For this reason, you have to listen to the classes properly and also practice some questions. When you do that, this final decision will be made easily. So that's a difference. Anyway, that's a good thought. Thanks for that. Okay, Kavita is putting a question. What if the project sponsor asks, A should be good to go? Uh-huh. How do you say that if a project sponsor is saying that? In stakeholder management, you would have read something about unaware, aware, and also you read about something how to make a person be educated on the project knowledge, right? So if you're going to shake our head, then we no need to be in the project. So we have to educate them and bring them to that level. That's why we have stakeholder management and communication management. We will not suddenly surprise them with this information. It will be a gradual process, and we have to educate them to make them understand it, right? Like Einstein says, if you can't explain it simply, easily, it means you have not understood it properly, right? The same way we have to explain them. So we cannot get forcible from the customer, right? Then it will derail the project. That's the meaning behind that. Hope that answers you, Kavita. Let's move. Let's move. Let's move. Where is the cursor? Okay, types of cost estimates. Let's learn some theory now. Now, cost estimates types. There are a few types here. What I saw, there are the methods of estimation, analogous, parametric, 3-point. Let's talk a little big picture. What is a big picture? This happens maybe in the beginning of the project or in the middle of the project. What we do here is any project coming inside. Let me write something here. So we have a project coming in. A project could be at the start stage or could be in the middle or could be almost 75% completed. Whatever stage it is, they keep doing the estimation again and again. Are we in the right place? But when we are doing the start of the project, what will happen is we will use certain method of estimation to see how much a budget will happen. And that estimation goes to one of the estimation called as rough order of magnitude, ROM. They call us a ROM estimation. In a ROM estimation, they will tell that the estimation says $100, the project will be completed. When they give $100 in the ROM estimation, it is something can fluctuate between minus 25 to plus 75%. What it means is the project estimation can be varying between $75 to $175. This is a variation can happen. It's a huge variation, right? 75 to 175. This happens when you decide some project at the beginning stage and also with less amount of information. It is acceptable. This is how project works. Let's say some space research project. For a space research project, there'll be a huge fund allocation will happen. In the beginning stage, they'll say a ROM estimation based on some of the historical record. They'll tell that, okay, whenever you go for space research, it can be $2.5 billion. What? 2.5? Man, that's a huge, yeah, that's how it will be. But it can fluctuate. It can drop down to 25% or can add 75%. Maybe. But how do you know that? As you move next stages of your project, there is something called budgetary estimation. This you will do as you get more requirement clarity, as you go a little more deep inside, right? Now, that stage, the variations start shrinking down. You can see the variation goes minus 10 to 25%. That's a variation comes in. So you start shrinking down. As you know more clearer information, the better you make an estimation. How many of us, when you want to buy an apartment, when you want to buy a car, when you want to buy something specific for a family, the more the clarity, the better estimation card fluctuating. When you go to the car showroom to buy a car, you may start in some budget and you'll end up in some budget. I have not heard one person who went with a clear mind, this is the money I will give, this is what I want to buy. But actually doesn't happen. Specifically the car doesn't happen. In the car showroom, initially they leave a price, lowest price of one car. Nobody buys that car. If you go to showroom, that car will be the first car they'll show you. So there's a lowest model, 3,25,000 rupees. Okay, if you go inside, there won't be steering, there won't be tires, there won't be engine, only box will be there. They'll tell that's the lowest model, sir. There is a next model next to it, 3,75,000. It'll have the power window, power thing, power. From there, they'll move to the next stage, 4 lakh, 5 lakh. They slowly take to different levels. Okay, this generally happens in the car industry. And car industry, there is a stats, nobody ever buys the lowest model. Worst case, they buy. Now, point is, the estimation differs based on the requirement. So the first level of rough estimation will be different. As you get close to the requirement on your specific, you get closer to the deal, right? When the project started rolling deeper inside, they call as a definitive estimate. You are very definite on what you want. Still, there is a variation of -5 to 10%. Now you can question me, Shriram, it's very definitive, right? Why should we vary? These varying factors are called as EEF and also risk factors. Do anybody know what is EEF? If you remember it.
Like
Enterprise
environmental
factors.
factors.
Right, that's good to hear. Enterprise environmental factors, which makes it differing. And you can question me, why should I worry about it? Yes, government policies can change it. Norms and conditions, a trade war, something can happen between the countries. Now the situation happening in the market, it's an ideal example of EEF. Even though you want to do the business, you are ready with the resources, you cannot. The government says no. Even you manufacture things, you can't export it. No country willing to buy. And many people are saying, hey, China started manufacturing. They are very fast. You manufacture, but who will buy? None of the country going to open the border for next 8 months. Then who will buy your product? You have to manufacture and keep in your home only. They won't buy it, right? So nothing will change. You can't do anything. That will block you. Or your company cooperating system, they say, no, we can't support it now. That can be a problem. There can be a fatality happening in the system. There can be some product not available. So these are the factors will fluctuate. So you cannot go very rigid saying that this is the budget, this is what we do. It won't work. That's why they put that definitive estimate, this format, right? Right there. So what I do is I'll show a video of project management into that what the cost estimate happens before you go to the next stage, right? There are some chat window. Let me read that. Dollar rate market EEF, Raghu says, could you please provide a scenario when the cost will be re-estimated? Raghu, the point is re-estimation is a continuous process. There is no one scenario. You have to do regularly. That is called EVM. If you read the PMP books, there is something called earn value management. Every week, every month, they keep checking out, am I going the right way? They keep re-estimating the project, how it's moving, right? There's no specific point. You have to keep looking regularly, consistently. Okay, let's go to the Prithvi is asking question. Shriram, for exam point of view, is that we just need to aware of ROM, budgetary and definite estimate. What about concepts, preliminary estimates? Not needed, Prithvi. For exam, these three concepts are much enough. That is covered for the PMBOK book. Okay, good. That's good. Yep. And for the Raghu question, yes, we have to keep looking at. There is no specific point. You cannot tell I will close my eyes, I look after 1 month. No, you have to keep checking regularly. That's very important. That's why they have the EVM calculations. Okay, quickly, let me take you to a video to show that some factors about the cost estimation where I have it. Just a minute. I'm pulling the stuff. By the way, anybody going for the exam in the month of May? Very close to the exams here.
Saddam, it's mine. Mine is on Monday evening.
2 more days.
Yeah.
Congratulations, man. Do a good job.
Thank you. Hopefully.
It'll be good. It'll be good. As I know I'm tracking with you, I know you're doing a good job. So sure, it'll be good. Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Good job. And PAP exams, as you do from home, it'll be pretty better now because it's your own ground, right? You can play really well. So you'll do a good job there. Right. I'm seeing some more names coming up. Prithvi, Susan says yes. Giri says yes. Shami says yes. May 28th, Giri. Okay, great. I know, you know what? There's a PMP is one of the secret agenda. We won't declare with anybody. At least some people are declaring here. Thanks for it. Because many people keep it as a Pokhran explosion under the carpet and they won't explode it on the day. Good that, but again, be little prepared and get in touch with me or my the team around us to give some support to you, give some details, right? Don't keep certain things assuming this is how it will work. No, ask questions and be with touch with us, because we have many people writing exams all over the world and they're reaching out regularly. We do come across a lot of problems, issues, what happened in the exams that help us to give you some guidance, right? That's so be in touch. So good that many of you going for the exams, and good wishes for you, because PMP exam is a big milestone in your life. As you clear it, the level of confidence level goes high. I can see some of you just reading the book itself, you'll feel highly confident now. You'll feel, oh man, I know a lot of things. Your shoulder will slightly go high. Okay. This is how we'll start talking with the managers. So after completing, see the level of expertise you will have with you. That's really good to see. But again, you have to materialize it in your job nature. You should not be only the qualified person. Okay, coming back, I'm pulling the video just to show some stuff. Before that, let me set the audio. Share computer sound, yeah, cost management.
How does a project manager?
Okay, can someone confirm that you're getting the video and audio? It will be good for me.
Yes. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thanks for that. Let's go. Let's watch a small video.
Know what a project will cost? Most times, if it's a large project, they won't. Well, not the complete costs, not at least until the project has been completed. From construction to information technology, projects need materials and resources. This can include cables and routers, lumber and cement. Simply coming up with a project budget is not enough during the project planning sessions. A project manager must estimate these costs as accurately as possible and has to keep a watchful eye on whether the costs remain close to the estimated figures in the initial budget. In this section, we'll discuss the knowledge area that sets the bottom line, the cost management knowledge area. Project cost management is one of the most important project management activities, and it's used to ensure a project is delivered within the cost expectations laid down in the project's definition. In addition to the project goals that the project manager has to oversee, the estimation and control of the various costs the projects will incur is a critical factor in the project's success. It can also determine whether or not the organization will make a profit or take a loss on the project. Every project costs money, and organizations expect the best value in return for their investment. Since analyzing the costs also determines whether or not the organization will make a profit or take a loss on the project, a project manager has to track these costs, translate them, and report them in a language and format that the stakeholders can understand. Project cost management is not just about collecting and measuring how much a project has spent, and then looking at a budget and deciding what's left over to finish the project. Cost management consists of planning, estimating, measuring, then comparing the costs to a baseline, and then taking positive action when necessary. Costs should only be estimated once all the project activities have been properly estimated. Before then, there are too many factors that will directly affect the final cost of a project. A project manager must keep in mind all the risks that come with any project cost escalation, and rising costs need to be prevented as best as they can. There are 4 processes in the cost management knowledge area. The first 3 fall under the planning process group, and 1 falls under the monitoring and controlling process group. These processes are plan cost management, estimate costs, determine budget, and control costs. A successful project manager must know how to estimate costs accurately, how to track project expenditures using consistent processes, and know how to discuss costs in terms their stakeholders can understand. Remember, time is money, so let's delve into the knowledge area and its associated processes that make and maintain the bottom line, the cost management knowledge.
Okay, hope that video gave some clue, right? Was he talking something interesting there? Did you found, okay, that video gives some sense? Because I found some sense there. It's not only important to only estimate the things. You have to communicate effectively with the stakeholders. Anybody observed it? Did you got the term when he was saying that? Right? Telling that effectively communication. Suddenly you cannot go and surprise your stakeholders. Hey, you know what? The budget is shooting high, something going wrong. It should be constant communication. So the big question is, who are the stakeholders? Yes, you have to learn something called stakeholder management to know who are the stakeholders, whom to communicate, what to communicate, when to communicate, right? I always feel that effective stakeholder management solves a lot of the project problems. Anyway, that's a different topic altogether. You can listen to some of the videos which you discussed about stakeholder. Right now, go ahead and see this question. Let's see your thought process. This is an interesting question. A simple question. Answer starts coming up. People are going straight away to D. Good. So what's the key word in the question made you to think that it can be a life cycle cost? Upkeep, support, as long as the product will be used. Yeah, that's good. Right. Most of you made the right answer. See here, the question is very straightforward, asking that, hey guys, can you tell me what is the cost involved? That includes maintenance, installation, support, upkeep costs, as long as, see, there is something called product life cycle, right? You know, product life cycle. Product life cycle is someone's idea become a project, and that project goes to the market, right? The time between idea and the market is called project. This is where you and me work here. You and me work here as a project. Someone's idea go to the market, this timeline. After going to the market, it has to sustain in the market for some years. Sometimes it becomes decades. Sometimes it goes centuries, very rarely. Bridges can go for centuries, right? It can go for centuries. Maybe a mobile can go for 2 to 3 years. A car can go for decades. How many of you remember Maruti Zen car, right? Some of you may use that car already. Life ends. Maruti Zen, I remember in college and school days, I've seen it. Now it's not there. So the life ends. So now this whole life, that's what the question is asking. For that, what is the cost of it? And if that's the case, I cannot go for benefit ratio. I cannot talk about depreciation. I cannot talk about NPV. I should talk only life cycle costing. Okay, most of you made the right answers, so no doubt on this area. Good answers, good choice there. Okay, that's about product and project. Good answers. Let's see cost aggregation. Wow, big sum of information here. Some of you would have seen this sheet before. Let's relook it again. Now, what's happening here is we're trying to put everything together. Few minutes back, using analogous, parametric, 3-point, bottom-up, either of one estimation, we understood that this activity will be $450. This activity will be $300. This activity will be $150. That is at the activity level, make an estimation. And we do that level. Now, what we're trying to do here is we're going to put everything together. That's called cost aggregation, right? It could be any estimation method we used here. Now we're going to put everything together. That's called aggregation model. What is aggregation model? Accumulating all what all can happen, and we tell overall what could be the expense for the project, what could be there, right? So we're trying to put everything together. If you see here, you put a package level, control account level, and project estimate. The project estimate is another thing, but a collection of all the work will be done for the project. Now, question is, Shriram, after this, we will not get any requirement. You may, but this estimation is happening for the requirement which you received so far, right? That is the next set of requirement can come. Phase 2 can come, release 2 come, something can come. But for now, for the work, what they asked for, this is the estimation. And on top of that, we had 2 reserves. One is contingency reserve, one is management reserve, right? Contingency reserve talks about known risk, right? Here it talks about unknown risk. I keep saying again and again every point, risk is very important. Many people don't consider it to be cared about, but actually should be cared. Risk can be of any form. Natural disaster can be a risk. Resource resigning from the company is a high risk. Your Amazon cloud server going down is a risk, right? And the cement packs delivered not good is a risk. COVID-19 test kits all failure. It's a risk. People are making fun of in the WhatsApp, but it's a big problem for the country, big problem for the guy who handling all those stuff, right? It's not easy to handle it. It's easy to write in Facebook and WhatsApp, but it's not easy to handle on the ground. If you go to the ground, you know the pain. Now, knowing risk, known risk or the risk which you know already it may happen. Now you can ask me, Shriram, you know the risk it will happen. Why you're not preventing it? Certain things can be prevented. Certain things can't be prevented. Certain risk we have to mitigate it. You have to adjust accordingly. In the flight, if you go, there is a risk flight can meet with an accident. Can you stop it? You may not, but you wear a life jacket. You know there is an oxygen mask. You know how to evacuate from the building or from the flight. That's all the contingency stuff. So contingency risk or the risk which we know which may happen. If it happens, what is the fund needed to handle it? If you put that, that becomes a cost baseline. Baseline is the amount, how much we want for the project. I'm not going too deep inside. I want to give a heads up to you to get a clue of it because we are revising the concept. We are not going too much deep here. Now, there is something called management reserve. Management reserve is some more unknown risk, the risk which we can't even predict, like the situation now and the situation going to happen next 2 years. We can't predict things going to happen. Now, that's called unknown risk. In project also, there'll be certain risks which you can't even predict. It happens on the spot. For that, we need something called management reserve. Generally, this risk is covered by the customer pocket, and generally this is covered by the management of the company who is performing the project. Anyway, let's not too much worry about it. That's a different topic altogether, because at times the management reserve is also taken care by the customer. Can happen. Now, the point here, what you want to understand is we are starting aggregating from the bottom level. We start putting into things together to see what is the overall budget we need to complete the work. This is the money we generally communicate with the customer. We'll give to the customer. This is the baseline which we want to get from you to do the work. In order to complete the project, we may need $2,800 in the phase one, phase two, phase three. This is how we have to release the fund, right? This is called aggregation methodology. It's one of the methods used in the project management. And in a personal life also, we do this, right? We do this. When I go with my family in my school days, I usually take temple, right? That's the biggest outing on those days. Now outing means you go to Goa, or outing means you go to a different country. At least next year, nobody will go to any country. But still, those days they travel. They'll have something called contingency reserve with them. Imagining if something goes wrong, how can we come back home by traveling through bus or train in a public transport? I may need 500 bucks with me, right? They'll keep the 500 rupees safe inside some other place, not in a common place. So some reserve will maintain predicting something can happen. Beyond that something happens, then it goes a different level. But again, this reserve is a very common concept which we have seen in our home. It's a very common concept, right? I have seen in my home at least they'll keep a packet of milk packet all the time extra. If any relatives comes in, probably they can get a coffee or tea, right? This is a reserves we maintain it. At a project level, we maintain it with some justifiable information. This is calculation happens in the risk management chapter in the book of PMP. When you learn it, it's a big chapter. We learn about it all together in the risk management. For now, you're understanding this is what we do, aggregation concept, which you put everything together. Right? That's a little understanding, even though we didn't go deep inside, but we got a little clarity how you aggregate the value. Let's see some thought process in this. Go ahead and see this question. Meantime, I see some question here. Yes, Raghu, it can be each activity different estimation. Okay, there's a question here. You are managing a project when one of your stakeholders needs to make a change that will affect the budget. Boom, 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 boom. Answer coming as A, B. A is also coming, B is also coming. Very good. Very good. You follow the procedures to implement the change. I think this sentence is a pretty interesting sentence. Now the question is in the last sentence, which of the following must be updated? Which one you want to update? Would you like to update the plan? The plan will have almost all 9 plans. You want to do the baseline, which perfectly talks only the costing factor. Cost change control system, it's alien stuff, not at all there. Performance review, I don't think we have to worry about it now. I think the answer should go to B because they're asking which one you will update. The point here is you are updating something on the budget as per the procedures. Okay, that is clear. There is no doubt on that area. The question is which document you will touch. If that's the case, I believe it should go to B because it's touching the costing factor. Yes, you use a project cost baseline to measure and monitor project cost performance. I can see most of you made answer B. Some of you had A and C. I think now you may got a clarity. It may not be A and C because C is a made up term, whereas A goes on a whole plan. I don't do all right. I will touch directly cost baseline. If cost baseline is not given here, maybe I will think of project management plan because under project management plan, we will have cost baseline also, right? I think maybe some may have thought in that direction. Then I will tell you, choice goes by like this. There is a closest option available. So I have to go with the closest option. Makes sense for the people who doesn't choose B. And for the people who chosen B, are you chosen the right sentence or sideway what I'm saying? Because sometimes you go by fluke, inky, pinky, ponky, father had a donkey, that won't work, right? This I've seen some in exam halls, people choose, okay, B, okay, C. No, don't do that way. Okay, let's go. Let's see some formulas here. I'm not going to go deep inside because formula is so allergic many people because some people are so good in algebra, trigonometry. That's good, but those formula may not help here. Let's work out on EVM formula. I want to touch few things, not going too deep, but again, this is important for your PMP exams. In PMP exams, we have something called EVM. The EVM is there from 1970s, very famous. And some of the big corporates in the US taken as EVM, EVM called as earned value management. They want to see, I gave you $100, you spent $90, balance $10 is there. For this $90, how much of work you completed? Are you completed $90 worth of work or something less than that? I said, right, whenever my mom want to buy something in the market, she will take the product and see, is it worth of the money we are spending? That is what you're going to do in project management. Don't think project management is something new concept. It's the same concept which your mom, grandma, uncle all did before even they learned PMP. Okay, but you're going to do it in a very systematic way. That's a process. That's a difference here. Now, this EVM in 1970s, 80s came in and it's very famous. And after some time, this guy NASA, if you know about NASA, it's a big group, and they took over EVM for their calculation, not for rocket launching, but for their financial calculations for the project management. And that was so successful, and they said, this looks good, let's do it. And 1990s and beyond that, many companies started using it, and PMI adopted it at least 20, 25 years back. Still now it's running, and it's a more powerful way of calculation. There are a lot of other ways of calculation also available in the market, but nobody proved it so good like what EVM is. This EVM is very much proved technology and method, very simple method. What they find is they find something called cost variance, schedule variance. But before we doing that, first of all, we'll see the project. There is a project like this here. Okay, there is a project. Let's say this is start time of the project, and this is the end time of the project. Right now, when you have a start and end, we have to see how it's progressing. Right, we have to see the progressing rate. Now, let's say BAC. The BAC stands for budget at completion. Let's imagine they thought they can complete the project in $10,000, right? They thought they can complete $10,000. Now the project started and they're thinking that as per today, we want to see as per today where we stand. That's very vital. As per today, where are we standing? Now, the aim of calculation of EVM is to see how much of money we budgeted, where are we progressing, how can we improve? This is what we're going to do. So we are taking the start time and we are seeing what is the current time today. Current time today is May 1st, 2020. And we want to see how much we have achieved it, right? What will happen is when we plan a project, we plan like this. January, this to be done. February, March, April, May, June, July, August. This is how they make a planning. And in a company, they'll be like $10,000, right? This is what the completion should happen. So as per the plan, by today, I should have completed, let's say $5,000 worth of work I should have completed. I should have completed. Okay, this is the plan. But actually what happened, we have to see. Actually, as per today, if in case, instead of completing 5,000, I have completed only $4,000 worth of work, which means I am $1,000 worth of work behind the screen. I'm not completing faster. See, the expectation is 10 cement packs should be moved from A to B segment in 10 minutes of time. But what happened? The team has moved only 7 packets. It means you're running slow. And that calculation will help them to see, will we complete the project within the budget or we'll go beyond the budget. There's a big set of explanation for this, but I'm not going too deep here. I'm trying to give a little high level as it's a revision concept. So what we're doing is, first we are seeing how much of money we spend for this work. In order to complete $4,000 worth of work, the team would have spent $6,000. Now the question comes, Shriram, how come, man? For $4,000 worth of work, do somebody spend $6,000? Yes, chances are there. Now what happened is, there would have been some plan. We will have 4 human resource and 15 items of material, which will be $5,000 and complete the work, right? But the 4 human resource not sufficient. You have to add another 2 resource to do the work. So it becomes 6 human resource. And the material which you acquired from different countries, the quality was low. You have to send it and again get it back in higher quality. Again, the cost can go high. So you thought of completing 5,000, but it went to 6,000. Okay, that is one side of money spending. Other side is the team could not complete the plan as per 5,000, but they could complete only 4,000, right? I know I'm talking little 10,000 feet high, but I'm trying to give a view for you. This is what happens in the project. As they think that this is what to be done, but it will be up and down. Now you can question me, hey, if it is up and down, then why they make a plan? Yes, it is expected. There can be risk, there can be assumptions, there can be natural disasters, there can be financial problems, all can happen, right? It won't go exactly as per the plan. If it goes exactly as per the plan, then you and me no need to be a manager, right? Any software can handle it. These are the humanized factor, which only computer, beyond computer, human factor can involve into it and solve it. Now, what's the point here is, the point here is when you have this kind of variation, we thought to complete 5,000, but we are at 4,000, but the overall budget is only 10,000. With this way of doing things, will I complete the project within 10,000 or I will shoot for a new project budget? The new project budget is called as EAC. EAC means estimate at completion. So we'll make a prediction. The prediction says that the team cannot complete in 10,000. The team will charge $15,000 to complete the work. Yes, I'll pull the pen. The team can charge the $15,000 to complete the work, right? It means we're going to shoot another 5,000 extra. This is a prediction. When you're making the prediction on May 1st, 2020, you're making the prediction. But the project is going to happen till December 2020. Now, point is why we have to make this prediction is when you know that you're going to shoot 5,000 rupees extra, $5,000 extra, you will work on your project accordingly. You may reduce certain resources, unwanted expenses will be cut down. Beyond that, you will keep your stakeholders also informed, your CEO, your sponsors, they to get informed that we are overshooting. Doesn't mean that I have to knock the door immediately and ask them, hey, sponsor, can you give me another 5,000? No, I'm not going to do that. First, I'm going to understand, can I play the game within this? For that reason, I have to see this. Now, somebody asked the question, how frequently you do that? When a project is running like this, will you check this every Diwali or you will check every week? I will say you will check every day. In fact, every week the team submits a timesheet, we'll check it. I'm not sure how many of you know that timesheet or charge code, what you charge is very crucial in a project. because against that, the budget will be calculated. If a resource works 40 hours in a week, the 40 hours equal to number of dollars will be deducted from the overall budget of the project. And that makes a calculation. That's the reason the HR department and the senior managers start pushing you, please submit the sheet, because they have to make a calculation accordingly. It's a running stuff. They keep doing every week, right? That's what happens. Nowadays, we have a lot of softwares which makes an automated alarm, red light will start coming up. Hey, something there, right? No need to calculate. There are days managers make manual calculation of all this information to see what's happening. Now, nothing, you just feed the data, it all works automatically, right? Hope you got some clue here before I explain some formulas and go there. Is that making some sense for you? For some of you who are at the close stage of learning this project management and cost management, yeah. For some of you new here, I'll tell you it will be X and Y for you, okay? So don't worry, you can gain this knowledge in the full class session, not here. Because in full class session, we'll go a little more deep and explain, which may not happen in the short duration of time. For you, it may be X and Y. Try to get a few words, right? For the experts who are going for exams, they know what's happening here. But again, it's a clue for most of you who are going to start your learning. Okay, there are some calculations. They call as variance. Whenever I see a word variance, it's going to be talking about what is the earned, what is the actual. One thing in PMI, EVM calculation is all the formula will start with EV. Easy way to remember it, EV. Okay, always start with EV, and that's the way they put the formula. Very simple formula. Anybody can remember it. If you give the kids, they will remember it in half an hour. They'll recollect and tell you back. So easy. Now, there are certain calculations. When the numbers goes in negative, you are not in a good stage because we'll watch out, am I performing within the budget or above the budget, or within the timeline or above the timeline? That's what we do. Okay, if we keep this formula in mind, I have a couple of questions for you to make you to feel and work it out. Can you do some calculations here if I give some questions? I have two questions here to give some mathematical work with these formulas. If you written down as a formula, if you have it, let's go, right? Right, let's do this roller coaster ride. Okay, for the people who are new here, just note on the formula. Maybe you can take a screenshot of what I'm saying here. And now let's go to the question. Through the question, we'll see how to learn it, right? Good, then let's move. Okay, before going there, okay, this is the screen. There is a screen to show the S-curve graph. The S-curve graph explains what I explained so far. What I'm saying here is there is a project between January to December. The blue line talks about planned value. As per January, the team should have completed $500 worth of work. Okay, I'm putting the point here, okay? But the team does an amazing job. They completed almost, oh man, very heavily, right? They completed how much? Around, let's say 30K. I'm just saying the number. 30K they have completed, right? The shoot is very high. First week of the project, the first month of the project, team did a good job. For that, the money spent is 20K. See the way, the plan is actually only 500, but the team completed more than that. For the money spent, that's also high. But things fluctuate. If you watch out here, the blue keep going up. This is a planned one. Blue is a planned one, which we do in the early stage of the project. Green and red are the one which happens currently. If you see here, there is a cross line here. The month of March, April, they met exactly what is asked. This is what asked, that's what they did. But the money spent is low there. Let's see today. As per today, the team should have completed around $75,000 worth of work. Team should have completed. But how much team have completed? Can someone tell me the number? How much team has completed? Expectation is 75. How much team completed? 60K. Yeah.
60.
Yeah, good there. Yeah, 60K. Thanks for that. Good there. But still, money spent is low, right? How much money spent? Around, let's say 42? 43, right? 50. Okay.
50 almost.
Okay, let's go 50. Let's go some number here. Now, what happened is, expectation is the 75 to be completed. But my team is a little slow. Maybe they are at work from home. Maybe something not good. Technically, some problem. Maybe Diwali season. Everybody are off. Something has happened because of things are not going well. Not going well into 60. And money spent is also low because many people are off, salary is not there, right? Then why you have to worry about the money? It's going down. But doesn't mean it will be same way. Suddenly it can shoot up, right? They recruit you as a PMP and you shoot the project very high and it will come here. Can be. And money also can go high. Chances are can go high. As per today, it stands here. That's what the client explained. But the expectation is if I know as per today I'm here, what will be the future? So that estimation happens out, right? Great there, good there, good there. Let's go. Let's see some questions. Here's a question. And it's a simple question, but you need to know the formula. Is somebody who is in a bike, can you please get to mute mode? We're getting a breathing sound. Please get to mute mode. Then when you want, you can open up and speak. So here they're asking about EV. EV stands for earn value, right? EV. They're asking EV. But you have two information with you. You have PV, you have SPI. With this, you have to find the EV. How will you find it? What's the formula? Can somebody put the formula?
SPI into PV.
Okay. Okay. There is a formula which says SPI equal to EV divided by PV, right? So if you want to do EV, what will happen? You can put the formula. In school days, we have learned it, right? SPI into PV. So what will happen? 556,000 into 1.2. So what the answer coming up? I'm sure if you use a mathematical calculator, you will get answer this, I believe. 0.6. Here's the answer coming up. Yeah, most of you went to the A. That's the right answer. Now, question is, how do I do this in exam, Shriram? They'll give a calculator. They'll give a system calculator there, and that calculator will help you do this calculation. So the formulas you should remember. An exam question can be as simple as it is. See the question, how simple. This is maybe 2 to 3 questions you'll get in the exam in calculations. But it's always a simple, straight questions, not much heavy. Sometimes it will be a little heavy. If not, generally it will be very simple question. See, they're flipping the formula, SPI equal to EV by PV. Good then, let's give one more shot. There's another question here. What do they ask here? What is a CPI? They're asking CPI. Okay, what's the formula for CPI? CPI, Cost Performance Index. For the people newcomers here who don't know what it is, we use something called CPI. CPI has some number. It will tell that I'm 0.8 is the answer coming up. Imagine. Okay. Now what will happen is, what it means is, if I give $1 to this team, the team is giving me back 0.8 cents. It means I'm underperforming. I'm not doing good job. If I give $1 to my team, the team is giving me 0.8. The same team, if I give $1 and the team is giving me 1.2, it means the team is performing really well. This is we call over budget. Over budget. This we call under budget, right? So the meaning of CPI helps us cost performance index. If I give $1, what the team will give me back. So that explanation happens here. I don't want to go deep inside, but I'm just giving a clue for you why CPI is there. So now let's go to the answer. A CPI formula. What's the CPI formula there? Oh, many people have had answers, man. God's sake. I thought some of you new here. You guys are all making good answers here. Good job. So what's the formula for CPI? CPI has a formula. It goes earned value divided by actual cost. They're asking how much of money you earned so far, how much of money you spent for it. So I have earned this much of worth of work for which I have spent this much of money. If I do the division, I get the value. That value give me a clue. Am I over or under budget? As many of you answered, C could be the answer. So it means the team is doing a wonderful job. They are performing really well, right? It's explanatory, right? See, the money I earned is 51,000, but the money I spent is 43. Money spent is lower, money gained is higher. Of course, the team is doing a good job. Does it make sense? The question makes some sense there. Are you getting connected with this question? Yeah, that's good, right? The question is very clear. Saying, hey, I got 53, man. I spent 41K. Oh, good job, man. You did a good job. The team is really good. That's a message to be conveyed. Okay, that's it. So let's see. I may have one more question, I believe. I know some of you hate questions, but still, let's see. See his answer. There's one more question. I know we are hitting top of the time. Let's see the question. That's good. Understanding the sense is very important. Hit this question. Read the question carefully. There should be some keyword in this question. Somebody read the question much faster, man. Susan reading the question very faster. Chanel read the question. I'm getting answers as a B, C. B and C is coming. C is coming. What is a keyword in the question for you to choose answer? I will read the paragraph of question. Give me a keyword. Somebody got the right word. Tejas got the right word. Balaram got the right word. Spent. Keyword is Susan. That's you got it. Yeah, spent. I think when I take the classes, I would have explained it. I'm not sure how many of you remember it. In the class, I would have given this hint that the word spent is very, very, very important. See, you have spent means out of your pocket. That is nothing but actual cost equal to spent. Earned value is so far, right? It's current. Maybe eraser. Earned value is something talks about keywords I'm giving. Keywords, earned value is current. Currently, how much you have completed, right? And planned value is should. So some of the keywords we use in exam. Whenever you see a spend, it is actually the actual cost. It makes sense, right? That's what happening here. Fantastic. I saw most of you made the right choice. Good job there. Fantastic. I can see a lot of you understood really well and you're top for the exam. I think it's time for you to go for the examination. Okay, quickly in summary, we are top of the time. Today we touched something on what is cost management, how the money comes in, why we do cost management. In fact, I started with resource, I started with schedule management. I spoke a little about risk, assumptions, that gives cost management highlight, right? That we spoke about it. And we learned something on type of cost estimates, right? What are types we learned? We learned raw, we learned a definitive, we learned budgetary. 3 ways of cost estimates are there. Estimation methods, what we learned? We learned something called analogous, parametric, bottom-up, 3-point estimation. These are the methods we learned. And we learned cost aggregation, which you put everything together. You bundle it out. You bundle it, you tell the overall value. First, you found the individual value, then you bundle it, right? And finally, we touch a little about EVM because EVM is a big subject. We touch a little about EVM to understand earned value management, how the formulas work to see the variance, right? That's what we saw something on CP and other factors, right? Good there, and I hope it was useful for you to learn certain basic stuffs of management. But again, at this point of putting a lot of questions here to make you to first think in the dimension of question, because most of you are targeting your PMP exams. Some of you are learning for your growth purpose in corporate. Some of you will be learning for the exam purpose. That's the reason we put that way. Hope it was a useful session. You got some details. Yeah, good there. And again, for the people who are targeting for the exam, be watchful on some of the questions, what they're trying to ask. See from their shoes. In fact, see, are they looking for the project manager? Are they looking for the project itself as in trouble, right? So factors. And whenever you take a practice exam, keep evaluating all the questions thoroughly. Since you made 70 or 80% in the exam doesn't mean that you know everything. There is a chance you may make the mistakes in main exam. So please look out each question, why it is correct, why it is wrong. I every time ask them why it is correct. Your way of correct will be different from a book way of correct. Please see that. That is the area many people slip out. Please watch out that area. If not, it was a good session. I can see a lot of thank note there. Thanks for your team members. Thanks for joining. Thanks for spending time being here and listening to the session, right? We will try to connect in another session where we give a little push towards the examination. I know this is good for you to keep working out on an examination. All the best. Stay safe. We have till May 17 to be at home, learn, eat, and exercise well, right? Good wishes to people going for the examination. Get in touch with me in the WhatsApp. We will try to work out on some of the clues for the examination, right? With this, thanks to all for joining here. We'll meet up soon. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Susan.